Welcome back to another ukulele tutorial. I'm Lara, and today's lesson is on the song Love Me Do by the Beatles. This is a beginner tutorial, and I'm going to show you 3 different strumming patterns for this song. We'll look at how to play each of these strumming patterns and how to play each section of the song. Then stick around for a play along at the end of the tutorial. I'm playing a tenor ukulele with a low G. If you're playing a concert or a soprano ukulele, your tuning will be the same. Just keep in mind that if you have a high G, then your chords might sound just slightly different because your 4th string will be 1 octave higher than mine. You'll find all of the chords and lyrics on screen as we move through this tutorial. You can also download them as a PDF from my Patreon page, and the link will be down below in the video description. First, let's take a look at the 4 chords that are used in this song. The first chord is G7. I have my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, index finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and ring finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Our next chord is C. This is the 3rd fret of the 1st string. If you play C with your ring finger, then you'll want to move it back 1 fret when you transition to G7. You can also play C with your pinky, and that way you're using different fingers for your G7 chord versus your C chord. You can try it both ways and see if you have a preference. Our next chord is G. This is similar to G7, but this time we're playing the 3rd fret of the 2nd string rather than the 1st fret that we used in our G7 chord. To play G, I have my index finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, my ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and my middle finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Our final chord is D. D is played across the 2nd fret of strings 2, 3, and 4, so I'm using my index finger, my middle finger, and my ring finger across these 3 strings. Now we've come to our first strumming pattern. This is a basic down strum on every beat. Let's take a look at how to play this and how to apply this pattern to the song. This first pattern is a down strum on every beat. The rhythm is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use your index finger for strumming or your thumb, whatever you're more comfortable with. The first section of the song starts on G7. We'll strum G7 4 times, and then we'll strum C 4 times. That's going to repeat for the first 3 lines. Love, love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. For the 4th line, we're going to play our pattern twice on our C chord, so 8 down strums, and then we're going to do 1 more down strum before we get to the word love. Then we'll wait to play our pattern again until we get to the G7 chord over the word do. Here's how it sounds. So please love me do. For line 5, we're going to play our pattern once on C, once on G7, and once more on C. So 4 down strums on each of these chords. Whoa, love me do. Now I'll sing through the first 5 lines. Love, love me do. You know I love you. I'll always be true. So please love me do. Whoa, love me do. If you're enjoying this tutorial, tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up, and thank you so much for subscribing. Now we're moving into our second strumming pattern, which sounds similar to our first, but now we're getting some upstrum practice. Let's take a close look at this one and how to apply this pattern to our song. Instead of doing 4 down strums, we're going to alternate down strums and up strums. Down, up, down, up. The rhythm is the same as our first pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, you can use your index finger or your thumb to do your strumming, whichever you're most comfortable with. It's helpful to practice this strumming pattern at a nice slow tempo until you can get the rhythm nice and steady and get the volume consistent between your down strums and your up strums. Then you can start speeding it up. One thing to keep in mind when you're strumming is that you want to power your strums with the movement and rotation of your wrist, rather than the movement of your entire arm. You'll get tired pretty quickly doing this, so you want a gentle rotation of your wrist back and forth that should be fairly effortless. The second 5 lines of the song are the same as the first 5. The chord progression is the same until we get to the very last chord, which is a G rather than a C. If I use this second strumming pattern to strum line 6 nice and slow, here's how it sounds. Now I'll play lines 6 through 10 using the second strumming pattern. Love, love me do, you know I love you, I'll always be true, so please, love me do. Whoa, love me do. Now we've come to our third strumming pattern, which is the island strum. This is a very common strumming pattern for ukulele, and here's how it sounds. Let's take a close look at how to play this one. Here's how this pattern looks nice and slow. The strumming pattern is down, down, up, up, down, up. The rhythm of this pattern is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we're moving into the next section of the song where we're starting on our D chord. We're going to play our island strum twice on D, and then we'll play it once on C, moving into the next line, and once on G. Moving into the next line, we're going back to D. We'll play our pattern twice. And then again, once on C, and once on G. Here's how it sounds to apply the island strum to these 4 lines. Someone to love, somebody new, someone to love, someone like you. The last 5 lines of the song are the same as the first 5, but the final line repeats to a fade, so you can repeat the line as many times as you would like. I'm going to use the island strum to play through these final lines of the song, and I'll play the very last line twice. Love, love me do, you know I love you, I'll always be true, play along. You can choose any one of the patterns to play through the entire song, or you can alternate between them. I'm going to play through the song instrumental only, without the lyrics, so that you can really hear how I'm moving back and forth between the different patterns. The lyrics will be on screen, so feel free to sing along if you'd like. If it would be helpful to play along at a slower tempo, then you can slow down the playback speed of the video down in the video settings. 5, 6, 7, 8. I hope you've enjoyed learning 3 different strumming patterns for this song. Have fun practicing, and thank you for watching.